All right, guys, welcome back to another Hot Seat segment. We are set up a little bit differently today, but first and foremost, want to say welcome to the camera side of things, Mr. Deshaun Goodman. We've gone about 4 or 5 episodes, guys, and he's earned his stripes to be sitting in front of the camera. So just want to give him a warm welcome. Deshaun, give him a little rundown of who you are. Now that we have a face to a name.
Well, I'm Deshaun. You've heard me on the behind the cameras, maybe on the hot seat. I hope you guys have been enjoying the questions and the content so far. We are doing great. Got to give it up for my boy. He has a shirt drop coming soon, so I want you guys to go check that out. He has dropped a few videos, just going over the overall tees and everything, so I want you guys to get up on that. And
Get
if
up
you
on
can,
it.
we're here. This is the hot seat.
And it's not expensive. All right, guys, we are looking forward to getting ready for these questions right now to go more in depth on our opinions on what it looks like today. I actually put this plan together last week. We couldn't get together last week, so we do have a gap in the show. But I'm excited because I don't remember what the questions were. So everything that's coming off is coming off the rip. So, Deshaun, let's kick it off, bro. Get us started with some questions.
Number one, what's one area of your life you avoided responsibility in, and what changed if you finally faced it?
Repeat that again.
In what area in your life have you avoided responsibility in, and what change have you did to change it?
Avoided responsibility.
I'll get into this one first. I think a responsibility that I wasn't taking, ownership for was, early on in my 20s was how I treated people. Like I always thought that the way I was treating somebody was with utmost respect, with, loyalty, with making sure that I was doing the most out of it. And if people brought to their attention that like maybe I wasn't being a good friend or that I wasn't doing enough or they just completely didn't, stop talking to me, I would be like, oh, that's on them. I'd be like, I'm on a different walk. Like, that's just them. That's not me. It's not a me problem. But in reality, it's like we all have a cause and effect of how we handle situations, friendships, relationships. So I think once I changed my mindset to that, it's like I could have been different in other areas, but that doesn't mean that because of the friendship or relationship dying or the situation dying, it wasn't meant to continue on with life. It was meant for you to learn it as a lesson. So
For sure.
The responsibility, to sum it up, would be for me is, taking accountability in the things that I could still get better in day to day.
For sure. That's honest.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I think for me, just thinking about that question, I wouldn't say avoiding it, but I think more so kind of along with that question, from a financial standpoint, just like looking into investments. I've been looking more into that. I'm big on saving. So that's always that's never really been an issue for me, but I think now more so like expanding and like looking into investing and like just not having your money just sit in the bank. Like having is in situations or reading about things and actually inquiring on things so that it can actually grow. That's something that I've really been looking into. So I don't know if it's more so like avoiding it. I think sometimes it could be a lack of knowledge, which knowledge can be acquired.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's more so a lack of knowledge and then acquiring that knowledge and then acting on and operating on that. So I would say that.
I like it. Yeah.
I like that. It is rough.
Love.
I'm going to have to go ahead with you on this one. I really used to kind of like go about life how I felt like I should go about life. I was super opinionated when I was like younger, but now I'm quieter. I listen now. I just like more aware and open to the conversation. I'm not so ready to just cut it off. I want to hear it and just drop straight to solutions. Because I know everybody don't want to hear that. And
Right.
Sometimes
For
you be
sure.
going through a lot. You don't want that person, like your person just, well, do this, do that. That was me. And I learned my lesson. I don't want to do that no more. I just kind of hang back and learn as they go too. Because I'm learning too. I'm still young.
Right.
We all trying to like hear just doing the thing. And, like, I gotta be able to learn something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's honest. Yeah, for sure, man. I like it.
I like that. Number 2, nobody's watching. What kind of man are you?
For sure, yeah. I'll say, again, one of intentionality, principles, character, morals, things like that. And I think, honestly, the way that can be seen, it's not about being seen, but I think when your name precedes itself and people speak on your behalf, I think that's really when it shows forth in the sense of if you are who you say you are and you are just who you are in totality, people will vouch for you without you even knowing anything about it.
Yeah.
They'll speak on you and be like, he or she, they did this or they operate like this. And it's not that you're doing anything for that or for those accolades. You're just being yourself because you operate on principles, morals, and values. And then when people speak on you, just naturally they'll speak on your character. So yeah, for sure. I'll say in that sense, principles, morals, values, ethics, things like that, that matters to me for sure.
Dang, bro, that was deep. I like that.
Me, I'm gonna go with kind, respectful, and humble. Like, you can come to me about anything. Like, anything. I'm ready to talk about anything. I'm leaving it up on the table for you. Like, I'm trying to be so open in my life where it's like I'm an open book, but I'm private at the same time. So I want you to know, that like I got your back or whatever. You ain't never gotta worry about me. Like, ever.
Do you find that? Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, finish it. Finish your comment. That's my fault. I was gonna ask, do you find that challenging though, to be an open book, but to be a private, intentional person living, a life that you want to?
I find it to me. I've been doing it so long to where it's like I'm one of those people. Like, I'll say I'm going through something, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody can be as open as they want to be. I'm very open about it, but like I'm open to the point where my thing is I'm kind of to myself. If I'm going through it, I'm to myself. I want to fix it and then be able to come back to you like, hey, like I probably had this problem. I can tell you about it, but I nipped it in the bud. It's already done.
For sure.
Like, I don't need, to be like, hold my hand and all that, the sensitivity. I'd rather for you just like, hey, like, we got through that. We laugh about it. We move on. Like, what's the next? Like, I want to go to the next level and I want to learn the next level. So I want to be surrounded by people that are going to the next level. And if I'm not doing it, I'm surrounding myself around that too. I am doing that.
Got it. Yeah, no, I always like that. Try to understand that, because I do feel like there are people out there that try to be open, but also live, I would say private life is probably the best word for it, but just live a life that's, just steady going. There's not too much into sharing what their wins, their losses are, just because sometimes it's better that way. So finding the happy medium between it, I think, can be very challenging at times, but at the same time, you do need to be open and transparent for yourself to be able to feel and not compare, but to relate with people, because that's how we live. So that's real, bro. For me, I would say I think you guys covered, first off, I'll admire both of you guys touched on two big things that I stand by and stand with as your guys' friends and your brothers. I can see that, and I would vouch for that. If somebody was to come up to you and be like, hey, bro, like, what do you think of this guy, Julian? Or like, hey, we're looking at hiring Deshaun for a job. Like, what are they like outside of work? Or like, what are they like as a person? I would first and foremost say they're the utmost kindest dudes that you'll ever meet. They come from backgrounds that they have no reason to be sitting in this chair and be as respectful, as humble, as kind as they should be. And I think that's one thing that I admire about both of you guys. And that is why you are family to me, because you know how to live life. You know that your struggles are your struggles, but at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about being a good person. Bro, I would vouch for that first. Secondly, I will say, I feel like myself, behind closed doors, I'm a deep feeler. So as much as I have a very, extroverted personality, when I'm inside behind the door and we're talking about something or, going through something, I feel that emotion strong. Yeah, for sure. And I think that gives me the ability to like sit back with it and understand where it's coming from and understand what somebody in my life means to me when they're not doing good, or like how to handle family issues. Yeah. And, having that gift, I feel like it allows me to ground myself and be like, all right, cool. Now I appreciate just being able to wake up and make a meal, or be able to go on a walk and have the freedom to do that. You know what I'm saying? So,
would you say you're an empath?
Dang, bro. I haven't figured that part of myself out yet. I want to say yes, but to understand like what a full empath is, I think there are attributes that I don't carry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tend to handle people's emotions a lot harder than my own. Like, I will take your feelings way more into a serious note and level, rather than just being like, for me, oh man, today was a rough day, and I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Sitting with that. Like, I'll sit with your emotions and be like, dang, man, like, how can I help them? Whereas me, I'm just like, regardless, you just got to keep going. Like, I'm more of a churn and burn type of guy when it comes to my stuff. So it's kind of weird, but yes.
No doubt.
That's a good question.
For sure.
I'd be crying.
I'm saying, if it gets to that point, by all means.
I need one at least once every 3 months. Not even on cap. Once every 3 months, and I'm Nothing but grind. I don't have any feelings.
That's real, bro.
I'm working. Number 3. Have you ever confused control with leadership, and what did it cost you?
Ooh,
This is a
dang, these are good questions.
Yeah, that is a really good question.
I-
Y'all go ahead, do your thing, man.
For a while, I was reading that. What's that book? That 49 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of
Yeah,
Power.
yeah.
And for a while, I was like, oh my God, this is like great knowledge. Like this is everything on this book. I'm like, I'm reading it, I'm taking it in, I'm taking it in. And I'm pursuing this in my life. And I'm like, and one day it just realized I'm a manipulator. Like, this is manipulation. A lot of this stuff, yes, is valuable. It's very valuable to learn. I love psychology. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, I'm reading all this knowledge. And I'm like, this is how you really control people. And I was doing that. And then I realized I was doing that. And I think it hurt me a little bit more that I was doing it and knowing that what I know now, it's like, never do that again. Read that Bible, man. Get a hold of yourself. Pick and choose knowledge that I'm like taking in. And that really, it really cost me my heart for a while. I was stuck. I was really stuck.
Yeah.
You better now.
I mean, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. So you were saying the book itself made you have a realization of things you were doing, or were you saying the book itself could be flipped in regards to some of the tactics and it could be used for manipulation?
Yeah, it could be used for manipulation. A lot of the context that I was taking in and reading, and on touches of like how to maneuver people, how to be around people like you are controlling the room. But around that time, like I was very big in sales. Like I love sales, and I was just like I had that salesman ego. And it wouldn't get off of me until like it was actually like really dumb. I'm like, it's not me.
Okay.
I think that sparks a good conversation, down the road of, reading, self-discipline and self-help books. I mean, it could go two ways. And I think it starts first with like, where's your heart at? Like you just said, like your heart was in a different place. Cause a lot of this stuff that you read nowadays is coming from a principled life of like how people like putting together a strategy of where people are at and how they became successful. And it's easy to take those things and to turn it into something negative. In that case, manipulation. And I think the difference between manipulation and the intention of doing something good is where your heart is. If your heart's in a good place, you're going to lead with that and it's going to be genuine. But if your heart's in a bad place, that's where you get the manipulation from. And it's just maneuvering people like they're dolls, which I think we've all done it in a certain shape or form. And we realize it now and it just doesn't feel good or look good. So,
yeah, that makes me think too, because it definitely matters in regard, and I'll get to the answer, but that just jarred me in regards to something I was thinking about earlier. But what could be used for good could be used for bad in any sense. Yeah. And that made me think I was thinking about different movies. So if we've seen Planet of the Apes, you have Koba and you have Caesar. I mean, they both are on a mission in regards to what they're trying to do. Who's wrong? Then you have Black Panther, then you have Killmonger. They both are on a mission in regards to what they want to do. It's just how you contextualize it. Then you have Thanos. He's on a mission for what he wants to do. It's just about how you want to contextualize it. So it's really the mindset. Personally, some days I relate to Koba. Some days I relate to Caesar. Some days I relate to Killmonger. Some days I relate to the Black Panther. So it's like, it really just depends on, I'm just saying it as far as a self standpoint, and then also Thanos. That's one of my favorite characters, honestly. Truthfully, Thanos is one of my favorite characters because he's super mission based. And a lot of people feel like he's a villain. I don't. I think he's an anti-hero, but he's not a villain to me. Because again, I'm not arguing from the perspective of what he did. I'm just looking at his mindset. Super mission based, and nothing was going to stop him from achieving. Nothing. So to answer that question, to bring it back, the question again is, what is it again? To not.
It is. Have you ever considered?
Because I wanted to get back to it. That just made me think about that really quick.
Have you ever confused control with leadership, and what did it cost you?
For sure. Well, control will confuse control for leadership. I think if anybody, like, there are spaces in life, and I think about it again from a sports aspect. A lot of times, like when I think about this question, when I think back to the sports aspect, being super, I think I am about high school and being super emotional in like the aspect of playing sports and maybe yelling and doing stuff like that and thinking like that's a way of leadership when it's not really, you know, but through maturity, understanding that like real leadership is people willing and wanting to follow you.
Yeah.
It's a willingness, because we all, like in any job or any sense, there's a boss, right? But does that make that boss a leader? Not necessarily.
That's real,
but
bro.
when they combined, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
When the boss is a leader, when people look to the boss and they're like, nah, this person has the mindset, they have the fortitude, they know how to like have conversation, they have empathy, they know how to lead, then it just combines. It's a boss and a leader. So it's a very fine line, but I think in most people's lives, there are times where people get confused with control and leadership.
Yeah.
It's just having a mindset to understand what's what, and that comes through maturity.
Definitely. You touched on it perfectly. And I think leadership comes with control.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure. A certain level, absolutely.
All of it, bro. If you think about it, like being a leader, you are given so much control to do whatever it is that you want.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, you really can. If you wanted to fire everyone in that given, I mean, it won't help you.
For sure.
If you were to fire everyone, you might get fired, but it doesn't mean that you can't fire them.
Yeah.
Like legally, or like coming from like a corporate standpoint, you really could.
Yeah.
And that's why I said like you might not be there for a while after that. But I think to add on to what you're saying, the easiest way that I've been able to like, you know, differentiate the two is by the influence. The influence of somebody saying, look, this is what you're doing wrong. You're a good person.
Right.
Continue to work on this and you're going to get there.
Yeah.
The belief, the love, the care. I think regardless of what type of environment you're in, there needs to be a certain level of love for your employees, for the people that you're leading and controlling.
Absolutely.
Because then you don't get any output of it. So I think the easiest way for people to understand that is by looking at your leader or looking at yourself as a leader and saying, am I really touching and making an impact in these people's lives in order for them to be and to go on the mission that they want to achieve? Because if not, that's all on the leader. I don't care what it is you're doing. I don't care how successful you are. If you are a leader, that means you have a certain level of expertise in that field or realm, which should easily be dispersed to the other people. That way they can have the decision on getting to the place that you're at. So yeah, man, I think to sum this all up of a leader and what control looks like, it's easy to get into the mind frame of I have so much power and to let it come out as control. I don't judge anyone for it. I think it happens naturally. It's when are you going to take accountability for it and be able to move differently?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a little side quest. Do you believe in the actual term, like there are people that are just born natural leaders?
I do believe that there are certain people that have innate qualities and you can see it young. And then if it's nurtured, it goes into a different space. But you see it with kids all the time. You see kids have certain qualities to where like other kids just they are able to galvanize other kids, or other kids just follow a child, and they're able to garnish certain things from other kids at a super young age. Where does that come from? That's innate right there. Now, if it's nurtured even more, now you're building a leader. Now you're curating a leader. But I absolutely believe that some people have certain things that are God-given. I also believe there are certain things in life that can push somebody into leadership, or, you know, certain things that just happen. So it's a combination of things, but I definitely believe there are certain people that just have certain qualities.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I think to be a great leader, like you said, you're born with the natural, qualities of it. I think to be a great leader, though, anybody can be a leader. I think be a great leader, you learn how to master all of the attributes. Because you have, let's say, looking at kindergartners, right?
Right.
But we're given roles in that age of like door holder,
right,
line leader.
Yeah.
You have a door holder and a line leader, both that do very well in their jobs, both leaders.
Yeah.
The door holder, I would say, would be resembled to a person who leads by example.
Right.
They do the work, but they don't have the voice to be able to say what it is that they're feeling. Whereas the line leader is controlling the line.
Yeah.
So I think of that as like a CEO, where he knows how to put on the show. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to get everyone together and make them feel good and tell them where they need to go.
For sure.
If I had to pick which one I would rather have, I would say the one that can do both.
Absolutely.
He would be the best leader.
Yeah.
But to look at just the one that just holds the door, the one that just leads the line, there's going to be discrepancies, and there's going to be, downsides to how they lead, because if you have the guy doing all the work, somebody learns on their side of, hey, I just need to be talked to. I need that communication. He can't do it. And the only way to do it is by learning. And I think the great leaders are the ones that learn how to do it. Even when they don't feel comfortable about it, they learn how to do it. So I think that's a great question, though. Like, it doesn't mean that you can't learn it. Just like he said, there's leaders that are born after they go through a job of a shitty boss, and they're like, I'm going to do this better.
Absolutely.
And that's their pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little downside. I was the line leader. I was the line leader until I was like a sixth grader. We kept moving schools though, but I was still the line leader.
Dang.
I loved it.
That's 6 years strong, bro. That's pretty good.
Something about it, man. Something about it, man. Question number 4. What's one emotional habit that's been sabotaging your progress, and how are you working to unlearn it?
That's tough. Saying sabotage progress? I don't know, one of you all could go. I'm thinking about that.
That can sabotage progress? Okay.
Some days, like I'll work. I'm going to bring this to the gym. I'll work really hard some days, and then some days I get off of work and I'm like, dude, no, not today.
As far as what?
Just going.
Oh, I see.
Just getting up and going. I'm like, not today. But I know I said I got goals. I need to be running every day, at least every day. In a sauna every day, 25 minutes. I know I have a strict schedule. And for me to break that schedule, it'd be like I'm disrespecting myself.
That's it.
And then when it's time for that day really comes to the end, and I'm like, man, I really started whooping myself down about it. And I'm like, I know I should have went. There was no excuse not to go, but I still didn't go. What's the problem with that? You need to get up now.
Would you say that's an easier thing for you not to go when you're having a challenging day, like at work or before that? Is that dictated based off of how you're feeling?
Some days, yes. I'll say, like, especially being in the heat. I won't give context, but I do work outside majority of the time. So it's like, some days I just don't even want to do it. Or like, I would just go to the private gym or to my apartment gym, because I know that if I'm already overstimulated and it's already too hot, say it's like 2-3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to the gym. I don't want to see nobody.
Word, I feel it. As long as you get it done, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've been taking little swims outside, just running a little bit. I've kind of been happy.
Nice.
That makes me smile.
Yeah, dude, that's a tough one. I think it can get into the form of, like, it's funny because on Sunday at church, they're talking about the 7 sins, you know, and the one that they got talked about the most was gluttony.
For sure.
And I think all of us can fall into that very easily in different shapes and forms. But when it comes down to your moods and how you're feeling to do certain things on the other side of it to make sure like you're medicating it, I think that's just a level of a drug that just humans we have a hard time getting out of. And you know, and I think it's, you know, it's strong. And I just talked about this on one of my videos. I don't go to the gym because I like going to the gym. I don't. Like, going to the gym is not fun for me. I go because it's a disciplinary action that if I don't go, it tells me everything I need to know about who I am as a person and who I stand to be as a man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in that case, the pull is different. It's like, if it's fun for me, I have such an easier way of saying, not today. I'll find another thing that's fun. Whereas if it's a principled action that you're doing consistently, you feel bad when you don't go and you're just like, shit, bro, I told myself, like, I wasn't a true man today because I didn't go 5 days out of the week. You know what I'm saying? So, Julian, I don't know what you had thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good point too, because, and it is very, very imperative, because like, people can show imagery to everybody else, but internally, like, you can't lie to yourself. You can't. And so if you're on a certain path, like, doing things that you don't want to is what builds up character and just a lot of other things. So going to the gym when you don't want to, reading when you don't want to, eating right when you don't want to, internally you're being truthful and honest with yourself. But when you do the adverse of it, it's like, you're not being honest with yourself. And that's the worst, because only you know that. You know that. So it's like, those are real things. As far as me, sabotage is a strong word. So I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm doing anything to sabotage, but I think there are a lot of times where I'm super analytical and I might be overthinking certain things.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's just a part of delegating. I think that's a part of being an adult, being on your path, being, operating within manhood, there are a lot of things where you have to think your way out of it. You have to think your way forward, or you have to like really, really like game plan. And I think that's something for me to whereas some people might say it's, they might use the frame of being in your mind, being in your head. That may be true in certain cases, but in a lot of cases, I think, delegating and being analytical as a man is something that's needed. Truthfully, it's something that you need, especially if you're doing things by yourself, if you're operating in a space to where it's like you're figuring things out. Now, being over analytical, I would say that's maybe somewhere where it's like, all right, do I need to be this over analytical?
Yeah.
Do I need to like, am I peeping too much into this? But I'd rather be over analytical than not. So I would probably say that, but I genuinely don't think I'm doing anything to sabotage progress, because sabotaging is like knowing, like I'm doing this for the byproduct for this not to work out.
Right.
Nah, I'm not doing that.
No, that's mine would be in alignment to what you just got done saying. I would say my like personal side of it would be I humble myself in areas that I don't need to be humbled in.
Word.
Like it can be as simple as like, bro, you're like really good at this. I'm just like, nah, bro, I just, I'm decent. Yeah. And I think, again, if we're talking from a psychologist standpoint, it's talked about as self-sabotaging.
That's a good point.
You're killing the momentum and the vibe that's being given, whether it's a compliment, whether it's something being talked about or a feeling.
Yeah.
And like even here, bro, like I'm just like, dang, I really live here. Like,
yeah.
But I'll find something like, but you still need to work on this. Like you said you were gonna do this by 28.
Right.
You're not there yet. So I bring myself down into like a grounded level when in reality, bro, just enjoy it, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of men do that.
Yeah.
That are on a path, and like you, I would not take that away, and I would rather have this than to be on the adverse of it.
For sure.
Of like in La La Land, like everything's so good. Like I'm this, I'm that. Like nothing bad can happen to me.
Yeah.
Because I think we all are humbled at certain points in our life to where once you're humbled to that extent, it almost kills off the fact that like you get too comfortable with being where you're at to just be like, stargaze by things. So that would be mine.
What you were saying, man, hopefully this again can help mitigate that mindset. Yeah. If people compliment you on something, man, just thank you. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because you don't to big oneself up, we don't necessarily, like if you're good, like if you have an outfit on that looks good and somebody's like, hey Fobs, that outfit looks good on you. Man, thank you, I appreciate it. Now some people it's crazy if somebody's like, yeah, I know this looks good on me. I'm killing this fit.
You'd be surprised, bro.
But that's not the route.
No.
That's not the route.
No,
because the route and also the route isn't to be like, nah, I'm just trying. Nah. You look good. If you want some fly stuff, you're fly. Yeah. It's just I appreciate that. Thank you. And if the other person looks good, hey man, that fit looks good on you as well. Where'd you get that from? I like that ensemble. I like that look. But it's always just because if you know internally, you're supposed to internally know like, I'm him. You're supposed to feel like that. Now, how you operate within that should be a confident, but also humility. Confidence and humility. But if you have a fit on and somebody compliment, man, I appreciate that. Thank you. Nah, man, I just threw something on. No, you didn't. You were intentional about the look.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you, man. I appreciate that love. Thank you. Absolutely. Because when you stepped out, you looked good.
For sure.
That's how it's supposed to be. So I think for anybody, three of us, anybody watching, it's really just if you're talented in something and somebody says something about it, you doing photography, you take good photos, man, thank you. Now I'm just working on my camera shots. Don't undermine yourself. No, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know.
I appreciate it.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I know.
You never want to be like, yeah, I know, I'm killing it. I'm going like, nah, that's not the route. But just being like, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate you noticing. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you for the compliments. I appreciate it. Because hopefully internally, that should just turn you up even more to be like, yeah, let me keep going. So yeah, let me keep progressing, but never undermine yourself. That's why I tell people all the time, like, don't ever self-deprecate. Like, don't ever say this might be a stupid question. Why? No, it's not.
Right.
Or this might be dumb. No, you have a question. Nah, you want to answer, ask it. It doesn't matter if I don't know something and everybody in the room knows it. Hey, excuse me, I don't know what this is. Can you explain it? I'm not going to preface it by saying, hey, this might be a dumb question, but it's not to me. I need to know the answer.
Yeah.
So nah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Always big yourself up within.
Learn how to bounce that back. It don't take nothing. I'm trying to get like you. Like, it don't take nothing to do that. I love
It's humility.
I love it.
That's where it comes from.
I felt good
If it's genuine.
If it's genuine.
If it's genuine, because sometimes you might not feel that way, but just saying thank you, I appreciate it. That's all you really need to do for real. Because flattery is. I was actually reading something. Flattery isn't honesty. When people try to say things to flatter
nice.
somebody, well, it's also not. It could be disingenuous.
Right. It's a people pleasing.
And people can see that. So you don't want to flatter people. You want to be honest with them. Like if you genuinely like something that somebody has on, hey bro, I like that on you. Where'd you get that from? That's a good look on you. But you don't want to just walk up and, man, you look good. And you know you don't feel like that. They can feel that. Yeah, they can feel that. So it's like, no, just being operating in humility and confidence as like conjoined together. That's really what it's about.
It goes back to like the how are you doing? And they're like, good, and you? And then you walk away, and then the person's already telling us, just like, bro, you didn't have to say it. And you just be like, good, like, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Go about your way. It's the same principle.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
Good point that you just made. Like I once did that. Like I was talking to an older gentleman, and like he stopped me, and like, man, this dude is kind of like he has that uncle vibe to him. He stopped me.
Yeah.
It turned into a 5-minute conversation about that one little thing that I was doing. Because sometimes I be moving so fast and talking fast. It's just like he didn't catch what I was talking about. And it was like sometimes you just gotta kind of slow down, like, and try to be in that moment, like be in that present, like you kind of provoke a conversation.
Right.
Go ahead and just finish it. Finish it and go about your day. It don't take that long.
Yeah.
You're not about to die or anything. And I was like, it really hit me. Like I really be doing that. And ever since then, I stopped.
It's real, dude.
I don't even do it.
It's
All
real.
the time, I give him a head nod, go about my day. I don't try to spark nothing. I'll just say good morning, smile, and keep going.
Oh.
Nothing else. We rolling in at number 5.
This was a good one.
Number 5.
This is a good one.
If your future son asks you what it means to be a man, what would you say in one sentence?
For sure. I would say independent thinking and accountability. And the reason why I say independent thinking is I truly believe once you really start stepping into manhood, you start making decisions for yourself, regardless of whatever anybody has to say around you. Like your boys could be going out, just to use an example, and you know you need to, let's say, hit the gym or you're working to accomplish something. You shake everybody's hand. Hey, it's good to see y'all. Boom, I'm out. It's your independent thinking to where it's like, nah, I know what I need to do for the betterment of myself. Regardless to what anybody has or going on around me, it's all love, but I'm operating on my own pretense. I think it's very nuanced because there are a lot of categories for what manhood is. But I think independent thinking, when you see men move a certain way, it's really from a self standpoint. It's independent thinking. It's not group oriented in a sense of, oh, we're doing this. Oh, you want to do this? Oh, you're wearing this? Oh, you're wearing this? It's all love. We're brothers, but I got to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And we'll join when we have to join. And if it doesn't, if I need to go handle my business, love, I'll see y'all later. I have to go handle my business. So I think independent thinking is probably, and that with accountability, those are the biggest. Or some of the biggest.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I definitely agree.
You need a thing?
That was good. That was good.
Dang, one sentence I would say to my son would be, if you start something, finish it.
Absolutely. Keep your word, for sure.
Just like in simple terms, like I think as a man, when we, say something, it has weight to it, regardless of what it is. Like if you say you're going to do something, it goes back to what you're saying about like the hardest thing is sitting with yourself, knowing that you weren't honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And to be able to, as best as you can, continue to do the things that you say you're going to do and set out to do, whether you accomplish them or not, you continue to work at them. I think in totality, that's what a man really is.
Yeah.
So.
Word is bond. The term word is bond. That's a real term.
Yeah.
Men used to operate in the sense of like handshake and looking in the eyes, and that was the deal. I mean, for sure, there's going to always be a contract version of things, but when people would shake your hand and be like, hey, my word is bond, that meant something. So when that was broken, men used to really feel a certain way about that. Still should to this day.
Yeah.
Times are a little bit different, but that's a real thing, man. Word is bond, for sure.
I'm going to have to go with on this one. Try as hard as you can, and even if you fail, I will always be there for you. I always got you. You good. Good. We're going to learn this together. That's it.
That's love, man.
For sure.
That's love. All right. Well,
Go ahead.
no, go.
No, you go ahead.
What were you gonna say after that? This dude. All right. One last question before we clock out of this hot seat segment. By far, these are probably the best questions that I feel like we've had on the show yet. And I don't know if it's because Sean's sitting in here in the picture or not, but he's brought us some decent luck today, y'all. But last two questions I want to hear from both of you guys. Since we're on the talk about men, what does it take for a man to become a good man that has suffered negative trauma in their life? Well, that is. So you should know the answer.
To be a good man through the trauma, is that what the question is?
What does a man have to do if he's grown up with trauma, negative trauma, and all he knows is bad?
For sure.
To be a good man.
For sure. One thing I would say is embrace it, truthfully, and really understand that, like, from a spiritual standpoint. And I'll say this, like, when you look at other cultures, right, they have rites of passages for men, specifically. Like, it's a real understanding that you have to go through something to, like, for in the eyes of the culture, now be a man. Whether it's taking, well, it's a different multitude. I'm not going to get into all that, but sure. there's a rite of passage. So in pretty much every culture, there's something you have to go through, and then it's now we look at you as a man. So what is that? Embracing the struggle, embracing this specific rite of passage that you have to endure. And now in our eyes, we look at you as a man. So the first thing one has to do, at least from my perspective, is you have to embrace it. And then to end on it from the spiritual aspect, like, if you're looking to be like a certain caliber of a man, again, and I say it a lot, but God is going to allow certain things to happen in your life to where it's going to be pain. There's going to be sorrow. Like, you have to embrace it. If you want a plush life, don't ask for like greatness. Don't ask for it. Then you can be surprised when you have pain and suffering and heartache because you're not asking to be a certain man. But if you want to be a certain caliber of a man, you have to be willing to embrace the things that come with that. So first, embrace it. You have to embrace it.
Number two, I'm going to go with, jeez, I just had it in my head too.
It's that urban water, bro.
That's an insider.
Yeah.
Urban water.
That's a patent coming, y'all.
Yeah, facts.
Jeez. Can you repeat the question for me again?
What does it take for a man to be good when he's grown up with only knowing negative trauma?
Firsthand, and I did it, and I can vouch for this. Find conflict management. Take a course. It's a free course at a college, anywhere you go, and at school, some schools have it. Learn psychology and learn how your mind works and learn what you are doing and be able to be analytical of yourself too. You don't always have to be so critical, but you need to learn how to like be able to backtrack and be like, hey, I was wrong in this, and take accountability and fix it. And then you just move forward with your life, and you do that, and you apply that every single day. Should I have acted that way? Should I have done that? No. Then why am I doing it? Fix it. There you go.
That's real, man. Well, I appreciate you guys for hopping on to another hot seat segment, guys. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode, and we'll catch y'all.